Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome back to the ultimate mashup of content and content creators here on Majora T Cast returns. Today, we're returning spectacular with Mr. VGMashUP. Welcome to the show,
Yay!
sir.
Thank you for having me again. Really appreciate it and looking forward to whatever's on deck.
Me too. I don't even know. we'll figure it out as we go. Yeah, last time I had you on was for like the Mario Direct. I thought that was awesome, but I thought this would be a good opportunity to get to talk to you kind of just more, off the cuff personally and just see where the wind takes us.
Sounds good. Kind of like Zelda, right?
Yeah, where the wind takes you. The wind waker.
The wind waker.
Excellent. Where the wind wakes you.
There you go.
Yeah. So I like starting these off kind of fun. You like mashing up stuff?
Absolutely. Especially when it comes to games. Not necessarily when it comes to food, but yes.
Oh, I was going to challenge you with a food question. Oh, no. That spoils everything. Fine.
Uh-oh. I knew it was coming. I could read your mind, Teddy.
Oh, my gosh. All right, fine. What do you want to replace it with?
No. Let's do it. Let's do a food mashup.
Okay, I'm going to list a primary dish, and I want you to mash it up with side dishes.
Okay.
We'll start easy. Steak.
Side dishes, I guess, mashed potatoes. That's boring. How about ice cream? Let's go more fun.
Oh, wow. Steak and ice cream.
Yeah, there you go.
Love it. All right. Ground beef.
Ground beef. That's pretty unhealthy, so I'll go with a nice salad.
Nice salad.
Just to balance it.
Yeah, it's a good balance. I like that. Ground turkey.
Oh man, now I wish I had the salad back. But okay. Ground turkey, that's not as bad, right? That's a little bit more healthier, so we'll go mac and cheese with that.
Beauty. Ooh, love me some good mac. Oh, I had some good ones. I don't remember them now. How about pork chops?
Oh man, let's just go with I don't know, rice, plain old rice. I know it's boring, but why not?
What kind of rice?
I'll go with pilaf.
Ooh, pilaf, fancy. I would have just said brown.
There you go. That's healthier, but we don't do healthy in my place, so.
Ooh, okay. Well, the salad had me going. I thought that was pretty healthy.
I had to really sort of go off the cuff a little bit.
All right, so let's do the real challenge then. Tofu.
Tofu.
Yes.
Tofu. Noodles.
Oh.
Yeah.
Any specific noodle?
I usually just whatever works. Doesn't really matter. Okay. As long as they have that Asian, Chinese, Japanese feel to it, doesn't matter.
Beauty. Okay. So ramen, udon.
I would say ramen, but that's cheating because that's what everyone would say. But
okay.
Yeah, we can go with ramen.
Yeah, you just say crispy noodles.
There you go.
Yeah. Excellent. Cool. All right, I got some dinner menus to try out. Steak and ice cream. My girlfriend will be very happy.
Yes. Two best food groups go together.
Absolutely. Ice cream belongs to bottom of the food chain for most consumed. Beautiful. Okay, so how have you been, man?
Been great. Really enjoying my YouTube stuff. Kind of sort of found my rhythm when it comes to that. Participating a lot more in Discord. Gets a little bit overwhelming, but overall, still enjoying it. Trying to balancing the work, family, and passion, YouTubing, and of course gaming. Doing a lot of gaming this year, as always. Really enjoying it. A lot of games that I've played, sort of that were on my backlog forever. Going through them. So overall, great year.
You're doing great, man. I love seeing your content. I love seeing your growth, and you've been doing videos every week, and you've been claiming it.
Yes. I've been. I enjoy that schedule. Kind of pushes me to, just sort of keep busy, come up with ideas, and basically just maintain a schedule. So I like that.
Hey, this is funny. I think you and I share a kind of similar optimism in terms of like the YouTube content creation and just having fun with it and doing as much as we can. How do you maintain that, especially in the face of like kind of a general pessimism in our community?
Yeah, for me, it's really simple. I look at it as even if one person from the overall community, or even somebody from outside our quote unquote close knit community,
Right.
enjoys the video, gets some entertainment out of it, that's a success for me.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't even really look beyond that. I mean, I would love to get my stuff to grow. I would love to get my channel to grow, but that is sort of, as years progress, as time progresses, I've sort of shifted away from that.
Mm-hmm.
And to me, it's more about building this community, more about participating more on Discord, participating more via YouTube chats, video responses.
Mm.
And that has really sort of ignited more of a passion rather than something of a quote unquote job that a lot of people are doing on YouTube these days.
Yeah.
So I think it works better in the long run.
Dude,
Even though
mhm.
even though it doesn't show, I think it works better in the long run.
Oh, it definitely shows. Maybe not in terms of the numbers, in terms of views or whatever, but I think like your participation has been profound. I love seeing your video responses to the button mappers, your community table topics. You and Terry, you're neck and neck
Yeah,
right now.
yeah,
You
I
guys
know.
put out
I got to keep up with him. He's tough to keep up with.
very, but I do appreciate both you guys for really going out of your way, and yeah, and even the viewer voicemails. You've got a good number on those. I love
Yeah,
those.
yeah,
And I know maybe that this is kind of me centric, but I do really just generally appreciate seeing like the effort that you put into, like you said, building a community. I know I
yeah,
said like our community before, but I
yeah.
tend to think like broadly too. I don't just mean like the 7 or 8 people who like tend to, do
Right,
video responses and comment back and
right.
forth to each other. I think it's like a growing thing.
Well, it's more of an organic growth, right? The more people, like, how many times are you going to watch the same old stuff before you're like, man, I really wish there was somebody out there doing something different. And
Mm,
this to me is the definition of different.
yeah.
It's not going to get the viewership, it's not going to get whatever the algorithm is, whatever, however Google uses it. But the point is, it's something out of the norm, something you can relate to, something that is more personal. And that's what I think is so special and unique at the same time.
Yeah, definitely. There's going to be people who appreciate what you do and how you do it, and you got to speak to them. And like, I think the kind of attitude that you maintain and that you show is helpful, and it's inspiring. And I think as long as you maintain that, that's a great track.
That's the goal
Yeah.
for as long as I can.
How do you balance responsibilities in gaming? 'Cause when I think of you and kind of maybe your identity here in the circle, but also on the platform, I kind of think of like gaming dad, maybe like, or like the
Yeah.
kind of like Alex calls you Papa. It's a
Yeah,
joke,
yeah, yeah,
but
yeah. Absolutely, absolutely.
but I mean,
I do have a
in
teenager.
sense too. Yeah, you actually have children, and how do you balance these things? The content creation, the gaming, the father, the husband, etc.
Yeah, it's all sort of a understanding. First off, your family knows what you're doing. So, for example, I told my wife, "Hey, Saturday morning is chore day, and we have a visitor coming. Our actually father-in-law is coming in tomorrow." So I said, "Hey, I'm going to do this for about an hour or so, and then we'll come back, and we got to go to get some groceries and stuff like that." So it's basically an understanding. Communication is number one, very
Mm,
important, right?
yeah.
Talk to your kids. Set a schedule. Then, of course, there's work as well. So you can't really do this when you're quote unquote working, which is in my case. I'm working from home, so I got to be really careful that I don't get those two mixed up.
Yeah.
And, basically, if you plan everything out, I think it is more than possible to get everything done. For example, gaming is just one aspect, right? We also, when I say we, me and my kids and my wife, we also like to go out. We do hiking, we play soccer just to keep ourselves active. Those things are also important. So basically, when you're doing a multitude of things and you have a proper schedule, I think everything that you are partaking in throughout your day, week, month really feels more special. You're not doing the same thing over and over, and hence you're more motivated to do things like YouTube or whatever the case may be.
Yeah, definitely. And you're energized and everything. I love hiking, man. I should probably know the trails out here better. Do you have good trails by you?
Absolutely do. The only problem is Alabama, whether or Huntsville. Actually, I'm not sure if it's Huntsville specific, but Alabama in general, I didn't know this, is one of the wettest states. Probably ranked top five, I know for sure. Hawaii is obviously number one, which I'm
Mhm.
sure you're familiar with because you
Oh
live
yeah.
there. But yeah, so the only problem is during summertime, it's pretty humid and very spidery, quote unquote. And of
Ooh.
course, I make my teenager walk in front, he kind of runs into all the webs and clears them up for us, and he gets upset, and we kind of go back and forth that way. But yeah, there are a lot of trails, a lot of really well-made trails, some that are kind of rough. So if you're into biking or you're into just plain old walking, a lot of stuff to do over here. When I say
Mm,
here, I mean within 10-20 minute driving distance. So
mm.
really, really close, very accessible.
Hey, you grew up overseas. Can you talk to me a little bit about that? What was that like? Like, when did you come to
So yeah,
America?
so there's a interesting back and forth with that. So I was born in Hyderabad, which is a sort of a inner city of Pakistan. It's close to Karachi, one
Mm-hmm.
of the main port cities in Pakistan. So I was born over there. I moved to the States, Maryland, when I was 1 year old. Went to elementary school over here, and then around 5 or 6, I moved back to Pakistan, and that's where I grew up. I went to school over there, did my high school over there, and then in 1993, moved back to the States. And then ever since 1993, I've lived in the States for the most part. I've lived in Europe as well. Of course, I was in the Navy, so I lived in Italy for 3 years,
Mm.
and a lot of my family members are in the UK. I lived over there, spent some time over there as well, and in a nutshell, that's pretty much it. But also, I want to say that even within the U.S., I've lived in a lot of states, so that has really broadened my perspective. Because when you go from one state to the next, especially from east to west or central U.S., it is a whole new country,
Mm-hmm.
and people don't realize that, and it's pretty amazing.
Oh yeah, I did a road trip to Texas last year, and just seeing all the states along the way, it's eye-opening.
Yeah, if you probably noticed or didn't notice that the actual trees change. They start turning. They start getting smaller as you go towards Texas,
Yeah.
and then when you get to the west coast, they're deserty, arid, and then of course the Palm Beach and all that stuff towards California. It's
Oh
really
yeah.
cool.
Yeah. Oh man, I love to drive up and down the coast. I think I did that once when I was younger, but
Yeah, I
um,
did it too. I did it from so I went from Chicago to Virginia, the East Coast, where I was stationed, uh, Norfolk, Virginia, and then from there I drove from there with my mother to San Diego, and we took our time and then drove all the way back. It was a lot of fun.
I'll actually be staying in Virginia for a couple days, sometime next week. Actually, anything
Oh,
you
cool.
recommend I check out or
Where
experience?
in Virginia?
I don't know. We were thinking maybe Richmond. We were still
Okay.
figuring out where to stay. It's just we're staying there
There's
overnight.
there is so much to do in that area. I mean, if you're into hiking, Shenandoah Valley is a must visit. If you like the beach, Virginia Beach is good.
Mm.
There are some beaches that are better, um, but the main Virginia Beach isn't bad. Then of course, when you head towards DC, so much to do. The Smithsonian museums. There's really a lot of stuff for you to. So when you go to Virginia, Northern Virginia area, the one thing that you should never be is bored.
Yeah.
Or that should not exist. I mean, I lived over there for all these years and I really miss it. Someday I want to move back, but it will really depend on where my kids settle.
Yeah.
So I'm not leaving them. They don't
Gotcha.
know it yet, but I'm not leaving them.
Oh man. Yeah, I'm thinking I should go Saturday and not Sunday now. But
Yes,
that's
yes, absolutely. Yeah, definitely check out the Smithsonian museums. There's a lot of history in Richmond as well. A really nice city. My wife attended VCU, which is was it Virginia, whatever university, I don't remember.
mhm.
But so I spent a lot of time in Richmond as well.
Cool. That's awesome. Thank you. And also, yeah, I want to say first off about the Navy. Thank you for your service. I
Oh
appreciate
yeah,
it, and
absolutely. Yeah, yeah, yeah. It was fun for me.
mhm.
Um, I know a lot of people say, "Hey, thank you," but it was actually really rewarding for me as well. It kind of built my character. I'm very introverted. I'm very shy, and I
Yeah.
think the Navy sort of beat that out of me.
I think
Still,
it's
still
kind of like
work.
an obligatory statement, but I do also want to show appreciation and
Yeah,
respect too.
absolutely, absolutely.
Um, what would you say? I guess that would be your takeaway, right? Is that you learned, like, you came out of your shell from your experience in the Navy. What was your service? Like, what did that entail? What kind of work?
So yeah, so I was a quote unquote electronics technician. I worked on like a lot of the high voltage, low voltage electronics on board ships. So that usually includes radars, communications gear, things of that nature. So that was my, let's say, expertise.
Hmm.
A lot of specific systems, you know, depending on which frequency, whatever. There's all kinds of shipboard communication systems that they use. So expertise within a few of them, but generally working with electronics. But the cool thing is, when you're on a smaller ship, you pretty much have to be an expert in everything. So you have to be a firefighter. You have to be sort of a general ship maintenance person. You have to know everything about the ship because guess what? If a ship catches fire, you're not calling the fire department. You are the fire department.
Yeah.
So in that aspect, being on a smaller ship, and I was on a mid-sized ship, about 500 people, Navy, but when we were deployed, it was about 1,000. We carried, it was a Marine Navy co-inhabited ship. So that was really important, I think, to build skills beyond your own comfort zone. So I was an electronics person. I've always been into math and electronics and all that stuff, but actually learning about firefighting, actually learning about how the ship systems work, maybe a little bit about navigation, engineering, like engineering as far as not the maintenance, but how the ship works, how it functions, the engine room, etc. That was really cool.
Wow.
So a lot of really cool cross training opportunities.
That's amazing. You're a real masher of all trades.
Hence the name
Hence
MashUp.
the
It's
name.
not just VG.
It's a life mashup.
It is a life mashup.
That's amazing.
It's been fun.
Yeah. I've noticed in your content lately, I've really liked how every video has become kind of a mashup in and of itself.
Oh yeah.
I think like you were alluding to that before, but you've really kind of found the identity. Can you talk a little bit about the types of videos you've been putting out lately, and what's been driving them?
Yeah. So the idea here is, for the longest time, I will say maybe my early videos and a little bit later on, I was trying to find what people like. And I think that was the wrong approach because I would see, I would look at the views and I would say, man, people like this, people don't like this, whatever. I'm getting likes, dislikes. And I think personally that was the wrong approach. I just wanted to do what I like. And that's pretty much what I've been doing. So for example, some of the videos that I'm doing, like MashUp Time, I returned to that because I was like, you know what? I don't care if people like it or not. I like it. I
Hmm.
want to talk about topics that maybe other people aren't talking about. Maybe they are, basically giving what you would call the company speech, and I want to go off the cuff a little bit. So MashUp Time's return. I still love doing my hidden gems because they really are a representation of games that maybe somebody will enjoy playing, and that's really what I want to do with my channel. Push people to try games that they may not be aware of or may not know of. And then there's a little bit of sort of a combination of maybe a little bit of pickups here and there because people really enjoy that. I'm not the biggest fan of doing pickups, but I said, okay, I will sort of the center, right? I will do a little bit of pickups with a little bit of games that I want to talk about and sort of make an episode that appeals to a broader audience, but more importantly, appeals to me.
Yeah.
So not losing my identity and sort of trying to satisfy as many people as possible, which is tough.
I gotta tell you, you worried me when you started putting pickups in the titles. I absolutely despise anything pickup related, but you know what? Pickup and plays, genius, absolutely
Yeah.
genius. You actually talk about what it was like playing it.
Yes, yes.
We joke all the time, like me and Spencer, like half these people doing pickups don't even play the games.
Yeah, yeah. That is. I mean, what's the point? I mean, yeah, I do pickups and some of the games. I admit that I haven't played at the time either.
Right.
But if I'm going to do a game that I haven't played, I'm sure as hell I'm going to talk about a game that I have played.
Yeah.
Because there's no point. I'm not giving you any information other than I'm saying, hey, look what I got. Maybe you want to buy it too. Yeah, yeah. That's not what I want to do.
Right.
And I know that those are really, really popular videos. They get a lot of views. And I've come to the realization and the acceptance that I really don't care.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
and hence the VR. One of the favorite things that I really, and this is being honest, I love video responses. Like I said, I'm a little bit shy. I don't put out questions that much myself. I probably need to do that more so people can do video responses to my questions. I think I did that once, and I know you did a video response to that, which I really appreciate. But maybe something I will work on towards the future. But video responses, I absolutely love doing them because it's so off the cuff. It is so unique, and the uniqueness is what really makes, I think, um, our content more stand out.
Yeah. And it's so conversational. It's like, because we can go back and forth, like kind of responding to each other, and then you can still use the comment section to respond to that. I love that you
Absolutely.
responded to the topic that I did that was a response to Terry about monetization. Apparently, we both got it wrong, but I
Yeah,
still think it
yeah,
was a great conversation.
yeah. Well, trying to understand Terry's questions is sort of a work in itself. But yes,
Yeah, the more questions, the merrier. Yeah, no,
absolutely.
it's I think it's a beautiful thing too on all fronts because like it does show genuine interest in what the other person has to say. Like I'm cool. I love reviews and everything, and I grew up making reviews on this channel. But there is something so appealing about just like actually knowing the people behind the camera and going back and forth with them.
Absolutely. Like something like this, right? Who
Hey,
does this?
we do. That's
Yeah, yep, absolutely.
yeah. So I do want to talk when I hear the games that you talk about, and correct me if I'm wrong, it's mostly modern.
That is correct.
I know you've played a lot of these classic games. I'll mention Chrono Cross, and you're like, yeah, I loved Chrono Cross. But you played Chrono Cross? What? Like, and then also I'll be like, oh, you should try SMT3, and you're like, yeah, I actually played it years ago. I'm like, what is this experience? Like, how do you have all this classic gaming experience, but you're the modern guy?
Yeah, so I've been playing for a while, but I know we did a discussion on modern versus retro, and I talked about how I believe that technology has improved to the point where, for me personally, I mean, there's always going to be a case for retro gaming. But I mean, I grew up playing these games. I came into the RPG, like specifically, we talk about Chrono Cross, we talk about SMT3, and a lot of other classics. So I kind of got my know-how of what RPG even is. As a matter of fact, right after boot camp. So when I moved to the barracks, one of the guys had a Sega Genesis, or actually, I had a Sega Genesis. He had Shining Force cart, so I borrowed
Mm.
it from him, and I played it in my barracks, and I was like, "Wow, this is really amazing." That was my first ever exposure to an RPG, 1996, 97, somewhere around that time frame. And after that, it was like a door opened up for me, and then all of a sudden I was like RPG, RPG, RPG. I love the genre. I don't talk about it, as much because I don't want my channel to be an RPG channel. I want it to be encompass all games. But really, if you look at my channel, you'll see a lot of RPG goodness.
Yeah.
So I guess I need to talk about classic games more. I agree, but a lot of times, I'll be honest, I just have forgotten.
Yeah.
So in order for me to really do a candid discussion, I have to go back and replay the game, which then comes into the time. RPGs are long, takes a while to do so. So I don't want to sound like an idiot while I'm talking about a game that I played 10, 20 years ago, and I just don't remember all the contents of it. But I do remember that I really enjoyed it. So that's
Mm.
kind of how things go.
Yeah. That's awesome, man. So, do you how important is it to you to relive those classics that you experienced way back when that maybe you have that your memory has displaced?
Yeah, it is. It is important, but at the same time, it's just a matter of, okay, how do I balance that with the games that are on my back? Like, for example, right now, you'll be happy to know,
Mm.
I'm still completing Dragon Quest 11, a
11.
game
Yeah.
that, yeah, my first ever Dragon Quest that I have that I want to complete. Um, I've played 8 a little bit, never completed it, but this one I'm hell bent on completing. And can I share with you where I'm at? Is this like a spoiler if I do so?
I've played 10 hours into the game, but
Okay.
you can tell me how you're enjoying it and like
Okay,
what's
yeah. So
yeah.
so yeah, right now I'm in what I would call Act 2. So basically I'm going around and, well, I'm not gonna spoil it. If you haven't played it, I will not spoil it. But the
You got
point I'm trying to make,
Silvano or something, or what's the guy's name?
Sylvando, yes.
Sylvando. Mm.
Yeah. Yeah, I have like, so basically there's going to be a point where things reset to zero, so you
Oh
have to
wow.
start all over again. So when you
Classic.
start all over again, I'm starting all over again, and I'm sort of re-recruiting everybody. So I
Mm.
just in doing so, you're going to learn a lot more about the characters. And I've recruited my fourth or fifth character so far, so I'm fairly deep into what I would call the second act of the game,
Okay.
and really loving it.
Beautiful.
So, but the point is, I want to play games like Dragon Quest XI. I want to play games like Trails of Cold Steel 3. I'm still, you know, I've played 1 and 2. I love them. Probably one of my favorite turn-based RPG franchises. But all these games are long, and
Yeah.
unfortunately, I have to play those, which then leaves some of the older games, on the back burner. Okay, maybe next year I'll play it again.
Yeah.
But yeah, I definitely want to play, Chrono Cross again, relive that because I love that game. And of course, SMT3 game that I'm reliving through your live playthroughs and discussions. Yeah, I remember. Yeah, I remember doing that. It's pretty cool.
Excellent. Yeah, I think that's a good way too. Is just to kind of see the footage. Like, I mean, that's a long game. If you don't want to have to replay it, I would understand too. It's insane because Dragon Quest XI averages at around 100 hours.
Yeah,
And you hear that number and it's daunting. But
I,
sometimes
I'm
you
over
have
100.
to make that. You're over 100.
Yeah,
Whoa!
yeah.
How?
I kind of went off the beaten path here and there, just
Yeah.
did some stuff. Maybe I left my, I'm playing it on Game Pass. Maybe I left the Xbox on for a little bit longer than what I should have, because there's no way to really stop the game. You have to kind of get to a save point. So sometimes if, hey, somebody calls or you got to do something, you kind of leave it idle. So maybe I've played more 70 hours, 80 hours, something like that of actual gameplay.
That's awesome, man. Keep it up. I'm glad you're enjoying
I'm
it.
loving it. I'm gonna beat it.
Yeah.
And when I do, everybody will know about it because I'm going to talk about it. At least, somewhat. I'm not going to do a review, but I will mention that, hey,
Yeah, and then you're going to join me and Spencer in replaying Dragon Quest 1 through 9.
absolutely, that will happen too. That would be fun. If
Yeah.
there's a purpose, I would absolutely do it. But, just doing it on my own,
Yeah.
maybe.
Yeah. I get that. Um, can we talk about modern games and modern consoles, especially?
Let's do it.
Oh my gosh! You said in a recent your video on the PlayStation 5 that so far, let's talk about the games, and you said that they're favorable for you. Could you expand on that? Do you find that the PlayStation 5 is providing in terms of games?
So providing for me.
Okay.
So this is a very subjective answer, and the reason why I say that is because I still believe that the PlayStation 4 or PlayStation 4 Pro owners can get and experience games very similar to what the PlayStation 5 has to offer.
Yes.
Maybe not the exact frame rates, maybe not the exact, um, you know, fidelity levels, graphics levels, but they still are comparable. Comparable enough to you have to make that decision for yourself whether it's worth it going the next level up or not. But for me, I've really enjoyed the PlayStation 5, not necessarily because of what the games have to offer, but the interface. Like I've said many times, it's the engineering. It's the engineering that went into something as simple as a control. And when you think about it, the control is one of the most commonly used things when you're game playing.
Mhm.
It's one of the most interactive things that connects to the game. So the control really has evolved. The PlayStation 5 DualSense controller is what I'm talking about. Has really evolved to the point where you're like, wow, it really does enhance your gaming experience. And that's sort of what it is for me. I still want to get the 3D Pulse headset. It's a little bit pricey, but I'm going to eventually. I budget myself, believe it or not. So eventually I will get to it and experience the 3D audio that Sony has been touting. So slowly but surely, I think the next gen experience has been a positive one for me. Not necessarily in terms of must-play games on the system, because what is it, Demon Souls and stuff like that. I don't have those yet. They're still overpriced, and I'm kind of on a stance against Sony on $70 a game. So when the price drops, I will be getting those. But in terms of the overall engineering of the console and specifically the DualSense controller, yes, it's worth it for me.
Okay. So it just so if I'm hearing this right, it's that the experience of playing the game is just so favorable overall. It's great interface. It controls great. The selection may not compete with the other like what maybe the Xbox offers or what you can do on the PS4 even,
Yeah.
but it's showing great potential.
Yes, absolutely. And
Okay.
the potential is, as a matter of fact, shown on the game that comes packed in with the game Astro's Playroom is a
Yeah.
really good demonstration. And no matter how much we talk about it, and I know a lot of people have talked about it, you really can't explain it to somebody. They just have to experience it. Sort of like the PlayStation VR, which I've never played myself, but I can imagine that's pretty much the experience that you just have to try it out for yourself, because no matter who you listen to, they just won't be able to convey the message clearly enough.
Yeah, except I wouldn't sing the PSVR's praises.
Well, yeah, there you go. I mean, I haven't played it because I know I'll get motion sickness, so
Same.
I'm
Yeah.
good for now.
Uh. Okay. Cool. Um. What's next? What's next for VG Mashup?
Pretty much more of the same. So next, in terms of YouTube content, continue to put out these videos. I have another hidden gems video that I want to do. Hopefully by September, October time. I kind of pace them out. I don't want to put like I got to play the games, right? I can't talk about a game if I haven't played it. So it takes time to play them, then form my opinion whether it's worthy of a hidden gem, whether it's not worthy of a hidden gem, then compile that episode, put it out. So it takes a little bit of time. Also, want to do a lot more community topics, community responses. Hopefully, that keeps going. Button mappers. If you don't, have you heard of button mappers? You should go check them out,
Sound
Teddy.
familiar?
Yeah, it is a really good channel, and one of the cool things about it is the continued community involvement. So I look forward to participating in that even more, and pretty much more of the same. Maybe I want to touch a little bit more on some of the retro stuff. When I say retro, I mean Wii, DS, PlayStation Vita, not anything beyond that for now.
Mm.
And I also want to probably do a video eventually on the Nintendo Switch Online classics that are on there right now.
Mm.
But yeah, more modern, more of the same. Whether you like it or not, you're getting it.
I love it. Bring it on, VG. And speaking of checking out channels, ladies and gentlemen at home, be sure to check out Mr. VG Mashup. If you haven't already, I'll have links in the description below. He does an excellent mashup of the video game content. Let's go out on hidden gems. You recommend me one, I'll recommend you one.
Okay, so I will go with something that I played recently.
Okay.
It is a. Do you like puzzle games? Like a 3D puzzle game?
A 3D puzzle game. Do you have an
Yeah.
example, like an analogy?
Like
Like Zelda Ocarina of Time?
No, like let me think of a good one. Like a what was that?
Ludo?
Lost World on the Wii. Did you play that? Is it
Lost
called Lost
World.
World? It's like basically a light and shadow puzzle title. Well, the game is called Iris Fall. How about that?
Okay, that works. Yeah.
It's on the PlayStation 4. It's a really cool concept. So first off, one of the cool things about it, it's developed by, I don't remember the exact company, but it's a Chinese developer.
Okay.
So that's one cool aspect, that you're playing games from different regions of the world. Secondly, it incorporates shadow puzzle mechanics, 3D shadow puzzle mechanics, where you are controlling a character and they manipulate things in the environment, which then sort of opens up areas in the shadow that you get to reach to unlock puzzles and proceed to the next level. It's a really cool concept, a nice little game, doesn't take too long to beat, and something of a sort of a give your brain a little bit of workout type of a game, especially later on the puzzles get kind of challenging. So I
Okay.
enjoy that. So I'll
Cool.
go with Iris Fall.
Iris Fall. Beautiful. Okay, I've got kind of like a modern retro indie title, so maybe you might like that, but I
Let's
don't
do
know
it.
if you've heard of it. Blossom
Okay.
Tales.
Okay, I've heard of it, but I have not played it.
It's modeled after A Link to the Past, and it's told in kind of like a bedtime story. Like
Oh,
the
cool.
grandfather talks to his kids about Blossom. I guess that's the main character. Combat's beautiful, and just a lot of like intuitive gameplay, kind of like that overworld puzzle mechanic, but also action driven. I think you might like it.
You know what? So that's a good point that you bring up. So here's what I'm going to do, because I think I do have that game. And instead of, we all talk about games that, hey, let me recommend you this. And, we watch games that are recommended to us by others. But when do we ever really play them. I'm going to play Blossom Tales, and I will let you know what I think about it.
Okay, I'll do
So
Iris Fall. Iris Fall, is that it?
Iris Fall, yeah.
Yeah, okay.
So I will play Blossom Tales whenever I'm done. So usually I wait for one of the games to be completed. I'm playing a game that is about 2 hours long. Hopefully I'll get to that one, beat it, and then I will play Blossom Tales and let you know how it is.
Excellent. I hope to see it in a future Switch pick up and play.
It will be. It won't. No, so I'm going to get rid of the Switch. I'm going to just do pick up and plays from now on. That's a little,
Switch, gotcha.
Yeah. So it's going to be more, and another hidden secret, I guess. I'm going to do more plays, and I'm going to lean a little bit more off the pickups. So there's going to be a lot fewer pickups, a lot more plays. But
Excellent.
don't tell anyone this.
Okay. This won't air for a couple weeks. You're good. All right, Aman, let's call it there. It was a great T-Cast. Thanks for joining. We'll get you back on for more.
Thank you very much. Awesome to be here. Awesome. Love the content. Keep it coming. Love to hear different, guests that come on your show. Keep up the good work, man. I really do appreciate getting me involved and looking forward to doing this in the future. And talking about Blossom Tales.
Absolutely. And in honor of your channel, we got to do a celebratory. This has been Majora T and VGMashUP.
Signing off.
I was going to say out.
Doing? Oh, out. Oh!
MashUp.
Oh.
We'll do it again, okay?
Okay.
All right. Celebratory. Majora T and VGMashUP. Out.
There we go.